Hey guys, welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, welcome back to the main scenario quest. Talk to Namo and get the Sultana's duty. 825 gil, which is not the best reward we've had. We must make haste. My absence will not be unnoticed. The Sultana sworn for long. Sure, they're probably going to notice that you're not there. There's other places I would visit. To the Avarice Oracy. What the fuck is that? Is that near the Farmitage place? It's this way at least. There we go. Yes, it is the Farmitage. It actually is the Farmitage place. It's not next to the Farmitage place, it is the Farmitage place. I thought it was that place there. Jeez, I'm not sure how they're going to feel about me in here. I think Black Mage is my lowest level thing. I think I have a Black Mage, and even that's a shock. I'm like level 30 or something. When the calamity threatened, Ruban led the Alliance forces into battle on the plains of the Cartanu, and I remained here. I prayed with all my heart the Archon Lishoir would have power to rouse the 12. Since that day, I have made a custom of visiting the shrine during each of my little excursions. Here I seek the blessing of Thrall, reflect upon my choices, and ask myself if I am fulfilling my duties as Sultana. You are rightly collaborated, as celebrated even, as champion, because you have led in the line of 100 battles. Sure, I'm not sure if that's the correct number exactly, but yeah, sure. For the good of Eorzea, it is much the same way. I believe the measure of the monarch lies in how she leads her people in times of adversity. Sure. If I am to be Sultana worthy of the name, I cannot turn a blind eye to the troubles facing Ul'dah. I have chosen my path. With Ala Mhigo now freed, from my imperial chains, I freely see a way to aid the refugees. Already many displaced Ala Mhigans seek to begin a long trek home. And as you know, our Aston school, yeah, that's right. That is right, shall be waiting to accept those who wish to learn new trades. That's right. So if you don't know about that, basically, if you do the goldsmith quest, Namuro wishes you to teach a class of goldsmithing to the refugees. So that's where that comes from. It's another added little bit of text, I guess, which is very cool. I like this. Realistically, however, it takes you years for such training to yield tangible benefits. So I don't know, the ones that my students give you a thing. It was good. They gave you a gift. You liked it. But we do not have years. These people will need shelter and employment if they are to survive this time. The Ul'dah treasury shall provide. Precisely where and how to allocate necessary funds is, of course, another question. Might you ask a member of the syndicate for advice? Why not seek the advice of one who employs refugees? A wise suggestion. Perhaps a visit to the Gold Saucer is in order. Really? Its proprietor is a member of the syndicate. He is one of few who pay refugees a fair wage. I wonder, are you acquainted with the Godbert Mandeville? I am acquainted with Mandeville, yes. Then I need not explain his epic nature. Let us make our way to the landing, and we will see that the word is sent to the Gold Saucer. Godbert should be the only way glad to receive us. Sure, let's just hope he puts on some clothes. Alright, off we go to the Gold Saucer. We're actually going to the airship landing, but we go to the Gold Saucer, which is interesting because the Gold Saucer is actually an optional piece of content. So I wonder what would happen if you got to this point in the game without even unlocking the gold saucer. Because that's, I guess that's possible. I guess you could actually reach this far without ever having unlocked it, like at all. It's crazy. Those you don't know, the gold saucer is a casino, and you can gamble. Well, not really. You scratch cards and a lottery each week, and you can play mini games like Chocobo Racing and Triple Triad. So it's worth unlocking if you're playing, quite frankly. I have ridden aboard a public airship before, but this shall be my first visit to the Gold Saucer. I must confess, I'm most excited. You've never been to the Gold Saucer? Can I have tickets to the Gold Saucer, please? Yeah, please. The Mandeville Gold Saucer. There's a new mount here as well, which I've not purchased because I don't really like the looks of it. It's a green little plant thing, and it's kind of weird. I don't really like it, but I could buy it, but I don't know, because I can always I've not brought Fenrir or the chair either, so I think the chair is probably my favorite one so far, anyway. But I got plenty of mounts, so maybe when something really cool comes along, I could spend my MGP on that. There appears to be a quest here. Oh no, okay, it's this thing. How has she not been here before? That's crazy. I had heard descriptions of its splendor, yet I never dreamed it would be so bright and inviting. No, I couldn't possibly. We didn't come here to falter in any way the royal coin. Well, I'll give you the guild if you want to have a go at something. Combo is expecting us. Come, let's head directly to the lounge. Ignore these gaudy words. Hard. Temptations. That's the word I was trying to get out of my mouth, but it failed. That's fine. Let us go this way and try and find somewhere that we can find Gobert. I think he's upstairs. I think there's food bits upstairs, right? I mean, like, we could, like, we got time, you know, Sultana. We could probably have, like, a little go at something. Yo. I believe this is where we meant to meet Master Mandeville. Shall we sit a while? Sure. Do you want to order some food? Again, I mean, you are a Sultana, so you could treat me, but I'm more than happy to treat you to a whatever it's called. Hey, you got dressed too. That's nice. My apologies, Your Grace. I kept you waiting. No apologies are necessary, Gobert. My request was sudden, and you were kind to make yourself available in such a short time. When my son's good friend, the Sultana... good friend is... I tolerate your son. Say that. And the Sultana herself come calling. There's no more important arrangement. How's your wife? No? Not gonna... Okay. As to the purpose of my visit, I would have your thoughts on how the Crown might best aid refugees residing in Fairland. You are aware that I'm sure many of Alamigo displaced sons and daughters, she means refugees, long to return to their newly liberated homeland. And you are also aware that how they will suffer without shelter or work to sustain them. I would use our nation's wealth to spare them of that suffering, and advice you have for me on the matter would, however... Let me read that sentence again. I want to read that sentence again from the beginning. Pretend I didn't say any of that, okay? Pretend none of that happened. I would use our nation's wealth to spare them that suffering. What advice have you for me on that matter, of how I might best be distributed? The unusual circumstances of our meetings, Your Grace, choice of champion, would suggest that you desire for me an honest and unvarnished opinion. I shall give you one. My advice is to you, stop. Taxing Uldar's wealth to save Alamegan refugees is a terrible, terrible idea. You oppose my proposition? Most emphatically. I agree with your grace. The refugees must have housing and employment. But what profit is there in Uldar in this arrangement? Profit? After all you have done for the Girabanyas displaced, I thought you'd have very last person be to speak with the benefit of the misfortune. Forgive me, your grace, but you appeared to liberating under a misapprehension. In this fine endeavour to support one's fellow man, I fear, however, your stance is one born of pity. You intend to save the refugees, is it not? Is it a good time to bring in the idea that we found a massive treasure trove of riches? Is it a bad time? Bad time to bring that up? Okay. For all our potential, we are insolent creatures by nature, unconfidential. Clearly is all we know when we begin to rely upon it, to expect it. And then we must consider Uldar's own poor and downtrodden. Should they hear of the spending of our nation's coin, not to improve their lot, but to nurture the distant citizens of Alamigo, it is unlikely they will applaud your generosity. Surely it is not your grace's intention to foster new resentments, but to spread goodwill. Indeed. Then any support I pledge to the refugees must promote sufficiency. I'm fucking awful. I'm awful at this. I'm awful at reading. I can't do it. Whilst also serving the interests of the people of Alamegan. I'm just going to ignore that word. It's got a hyphen in it. It was hard. Exactly so. Such an arrangement will create a far more eligible relationship with the returning Alamegans, even if it generates revenue required to win approval of your subjects. You have given me much to ponder, Master Mandeville. I thank you for your conduct. Sure. Good, I'm glad. We done with this now? You stupid long explanations. I ain't done fuck all but bear witness to this shit. Just want that to be clear. Which I'm guessing is really all they really want you to do is bear witness to it. They don't. You just want to know it's happening. They don't actually care that you do shit. Alright, now the Sultana's resolve. Fantastic. What do we get? Oh, some sushi. Sushi's good. Or yaki. I call it that though. Maybe I get some sushi. Alright. Off we go then. Profit. The thought never even crossed my mind. But standing about limiting in naivety will not do anyone any good. I shall consider my lesson learned and press on. Strife. Are you patient acquired? Are you perchance acquainted with any successful merchants? A couple? A couple? If my attempt at a philosophy is obligated to reap a profit, it would seem wise to consult someone with a knack for business. Yeah, I guess there's a couple. Ordinarily, I would not trust any agent of the East Island Trading Company, but if you hold this Hancock fellow in high esteem, I am content to be led by you. I may repay my faith by journeying to the distant... We're going to Kurgane? Fuck me, Sultana. What is this? It's speaking with him on my behalf. Oh, just me, I'm going. Sorry, forgive my outburst. Eager though I am to visit those shores, I will not have the leisure or lengthy sea voyage. Now, assuming you will travel as an adventurers are what to do, I shall await your report by the 8th rite of Uldar. A fair journey to you, Strife. A swift one, if you please. I mean, sure. I mean, I'm here. We could do some gambling while we're here. No, okay, no. Let's return. I can return to Kurogane, and that's perfectly reasonable because it don't cost me a pretty penny. It doesn't cost me a single gil, a single copper, which is absolutely fantastic. Kurogane is taking ages to load. I guess that's because of the increase of well, I say increase. It's been pretty populated since the Stormblood's opening, I guess. I wonder who the first one to get in there was. Oh yeah, that's the new Mandeville quest. But I've not done it yet. I don't really care for Hildebrand. It's fine. It's fine that it's there. I get people like it. But quite frankly, I liked it in A Realm Reborn when we got Trials. Or better yet, should I say, I liked the Trials. The story itself, not super for me. It has its moments, don't get me wrong. There's a couple of parts that I thought were quite funny. But it's not like the greatest thing in the world for me. I did like the Trials that they held, which was very cool. Dragon's Neck is a very cool trial. Or at least it was before they nerfed it, but, you know, whatever. Greetings, Honored Sir. Would you be heading to the Ruby Bazaar offices? I am indeed heading there. That's where I'm going. I guess we'll get to see Tataru? No? Maybe not. Yo, Hancock. What's going on, my dude? Strife, to what do I owe the pleasure? Or are you here on business? A bit of both. I beg your pardon? Her Grace the Sultana would have my opinion on how best to invest in the wealth of Uldar? My dear Strife, I have you to thank for this relocation, recognition, I am sure. And I am flattered that you come to me, truly flattered. But why settle for a lowly operative, what? When you could have the master upon masters of profit. What the fuck are you talking about? And there's no living soul better qualified to advise Her Grace than the chairman Lolorito, a man whose morning expression are said to fill his godrobe with gold. Wow, what a fucking dude. I should be happy to arrange a meeting for you. Say, at the Scion's former headquarters in Fanland, the Waking Sands would seem suitably natural venue for the negotiations, don't you think? Fare you well, Strife, and may your dealings prove fruitful. Thanks, guy. That was surprisingly quick-winded and not long-paced. Good job, Hancock. You know, I'm starting to like you. Starting to like you, my dude. You didn't hang around for 17,000 sentences, which could have been said in 2. You didn't do paragraphs upon paragraphs of fucking text to say, go there. You did it. You were like, you know what? You don't want me. You want this guy. He's the best. Take him. He'll meet you there. Off you go. That's what I want to see. But I suppose they got to pad it out somehow, right? They got to pad it out somehow, because let's face it, it's not the the longest thing in the world, because people were complaining about the fetchy quests, you know, that sort of shit. So I guess they had to fix it somehow. Welcome back. Did your merchant friend have any useful advice to share? Not really. He had a friend who's willing to meet you and have chat. With Lolorito? And you agree to this? I'm aware of his standing in the field of business, but I had hoped to keep the Montress at arm's length. In particular... Nay, I can't live in fear of the man. I must learn how to treat with him, if I am to rule Uldar efficiently. Very well. I will meet with Lolorito. Let's go on ahead to the Waking Sands and prepare for his coming. I hope this meeting of yours is going to have a freaking voice actor at some point. All of this should be voiced, quite frankly. All of the main scenario quests should be voiced, if you want my opinion. In fact, we warped right here. That's fantastic. Good job, guys. So this is where the Scions first congregated. I've heard many tales. Never had the occasion to visit. Yeah, all my friends were killed here. That was great. That was good times. I had to carry their corpses from the door to the carriage and shit. It was good stuff. It was good times. Good times. Pray see to it that we have opposite room for ourselves. Yeah, Ophelia's old office, I guess. Or we could actually just chat in the storeroom. Oh, we are chatting in the storeroom. Very well.
A personal summons from the Scions. This must be important business indeed. Though, if it concerns anything so underhand as an assassination, I fear I can be of little help.
You're a sneaky bastard, aren't you? Have a seat. There you go. Sorry, I could have offered you a hand up if you needed to jump. Meet my associate, the person I wish you to have a chat with.
You have made your point. 'Tis indeed unsettling to find oneself seated across from an impassive mask.
That's right, you gonna take your mask off now? That's better.
There, would this better please your grace? Or should I address you as Lady Lilira?
Nay, the deception has served its purpose. I am glad to see you found amusement in my little jest, Lord Lolorito, but shall we proceed to the business at hand?
By all means. I must say I am most eager to hear your proposal.
Simply put, I would aid the refugees camped in Thanalan in their efforts to return to Alamigo. The reparations you paid in the wake of your earlier misdemeanors will be used to fund the endeavor, together with the fortune seized from the late Teleji Adeleji's estate. But this plan is not intended to benefit the displaced alone. I would make of this an investment which shall enrich Uldar and Alamigo both. And who better to consult on matters of profit than the wealthiest man in all of Thanalan? I beseech you then, Lord Lolorito, share with us your mercantile wisdom.
Ah, 'twould seem your grace has matured beyond acts of earnest yet misplaced charity. Pray tell me more.
She goes through the whole story, I guess, so I just sit there listening to it for the 17th time.
To summarize, in return for facilitating the repatriation of refugees and assisting in the establishment of new
Final Fantasy just used the words "to summarize." That's funny.
Ask that a proportion of all subsequent profits be promised to Uldar. Huh, I am impressed, Your Grace. 'Tis an elegant solution, albeit one lacking certain crucial details, specifically which industry and where.
How swiftly you identify the weakness in my plan, just as I knew you would. Your travels have taken you across the length and breadth of Gear Abania, and you know the land far better than I. Which of the settlements you visited would best provide a home for our refugees? Which has the greatest potential to flourish, given the appropriate investment?
That's a good question. That's a real good question. Alexandria is a dump. So is Alleghenia. Sultry is not much better, although it is just outside the main city of Alamigo. At the same time, you're gonna have to go through the peaks, right? So maybe Alagrenia? Thinking trade route wise, you'd have to go through one of them at one point. You know what? The Sultry. It's just outside Alamigo, I believe.
Ah, yes, that desolate little village on the shore of Loch Seld.
Yeah.
I know the Sultry and its products well. The Imperial invasion brought an end to their more widespread distribution, much to the dismay of many a wealthy gourmand, myself included. Salt has ever been a transformative ingredient, and in this instance, I dare say, it could transform a modicum of effort into a mountain of gill.
The local citizens
Oh shit,
will
did
be
I do it?
consulted, of course, but I trust the East Aldenar Trading Company can be relied upon to provide its assistance in negotiating a mutually beneficial arrangement.
Naturally, Your Grace. I shall dispatch representatives well versed in the extraction of this white gold and wring every last ounce of profit from its production. The Loch's bounty will contribute to Alamigo's enrichment, whilst easing the burden on the bull's aching shoulders, just as Your Grace desired.
A deal is struck then.
Fantastic. We did it. Good job, everybody. I'm proud of you. For there will be many years before I feel comfortable taking in part in such negotiations, but I shall not complain. We have piqued Lorito's interest and secured his invaluable expense. Thank you. I could have not done it without you. You're welcome, Star. You know what? That's normal quality food. I'm just going to take the gill. Thanks very much. Anyway. The Sultry. I'm actually starting to think that maybe the other two options were indeed false, and we would have had to pick the Sultry anyway. Which is fine. We'll do that next time, and we'll probably finish off the patch next time as well. I don't think we've got many quests left. I'm thinking the patch name is called The Legend Returns, right? So does that mean the Legend of the Bull of Alamigo is returning to Alamigo? Or does that mean he's returning from Alamigo to Uldar? I suppose it was picked so it could be implemented both ways. I still think he's going to stay in Alamigo. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, leave a like and a comment down below letting me know your prediction. And I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.